Good morning from Panhandle Outdoors, America's only daily outdoor TV show. Your source for fishing, hunting, and information for folks who enjoy the great outdoors. Now sit back, relax. It's Panhandle Outdoors.
Good morning, folks. Welcome to Panhandle Outdoors. I'm Winston Chester. I'm glad you're here today, and welcome to Panhandle Outdoors. I got a great show lined up, but first, I always want to take care of our weather. People say, why do you do the weather every day? Because we have weather every day, and it is constantly changing, and you well know that here in the Florida Panhandle, so we've got to keep our eyes out. Plus, it has a lot to do on whether you're going to be successful or unsuccessful in the outdoors, how you sort of treat these tides and winds and all. But anyway, high today is going to be 87, low 75, and water temperature at the end of the pier is 86. Let's take a look at our river readings. Brought to us by Mountain Dew. Get out and do. Apalachicola Bluntstown, 7 foot even, and speaking of even, it's just staying level all the way over through the weekend. The Choctawhatchee at Caryville at a 2.5. It's going to be right this weekend. We'll be planning to do some good river fishing. 2.5, both rivers are steady. Now our tide brought to us by Kent Forest Lawn. We're looking at strong tides, and nature's sort of smiling on us this weekend. Good river readings and good strong tides. So we're going to have a high tide at 2:36 this morning, and be low after lunch at about 2:17. So you can pick your choice: a outgoing tide in the morning or incoming tide in the afternoon. The breeze is going to be coming sort of out of north-northeast for about third or fourth day, and it looks like it's going to be about 8 to 9 today. All right, we'll take our break and we'll be right back. Okay, welcome back. Let's start off with a text I received from Larry Brown over off the Choctawhatchee River. He's so good about sending us comments and everything, and I appreciate the feedback throughout the Panhandle. We get some really good comments and all, and I appreciate it. And I try to answer all of them. I want to be 100%, but if you send me something and for some reason you don't get a reply from me, please send it again. Sometimes they just fall through the crack. I don't know how, but sometimes they do. So we really appreciate the feedback. But this is in response to Billy Grantham hosting the show last week with his guest out there in Studio B. And he said, okay, here we go. Billy Grantham is a dirt road sport. Now that in itself tells you something. A dirt road sport is an old saying the old timers use. The old dirt road sport is, so that's good right there. So that tells me where it's headed on this email, on this text. He makes me remember just how country I am. He reminds me just how rich our deep South culture is, and how proud we should be to come from a culture so full of joy and such a love of nature. And that hits the nail on the head. And Larry, I appreciate those words. I know Billy does too. And it's just really, it's unique here in the Florida Panhandle. Here on the coast, we have more of a blend of cultures from people moving in and all. And that's, it's sort of a reflection of America. But there are pockets of America that just has this special culture. And I've always said the Panhandle is one of those pockets. And it's a rich culture, and hit the nail on the head. It's full of joy, happiness, and helping a fellow man, and doing things for others, and just loving the outdoors. And that's how we can do a show. So we'll get Billy on, and he reflects a lot of it. But guess what? We talked about peanuts on the show yesterday. Guess what happened after the show? They're pulling some across the road. That's pulling up the peanuts, and of course, you know what happened. He's going to bring me some peanuts. So anyway, that's good right there. Also, let's jumping over to we talked yesterday. I mentioned surf fishing, and one of the things that we love to do is surf fish. And I talked about how much fun it is to surf fish. And I wrote down a couple of notes, and that's one of my fun things to do. And one of the things, though, and I've done this for years, is looking at a place to go. I just want to mention driving back and forth through the Mexico Beach, St. Joe Beach area. We always talk about those cuts, those little cuts in the sandbar where the water washes in and comes out. And I've been watching that area. I've been driving over there I don't know, 40, 50 years, just always looking, looking for cuts. And it changes. I wish I would have charted it all these years, how those cuts don't just stay like in one spot this year in one spot. Same next year it might move over a little bit, and then it move over. And that's because of the shifting sand. But Hurricane Michael did something interesting. And after things settled down and we were able to drive there, we couldn't drive Mexico Beach for a while. One of the first things I wanted to do was, look out and see where the cuts, because your road is up here, and you look down, especially on a calm day and a clear day, you can see exactly where those cuts are. Well, after Hurricane Michael, I had to do it a couple of times to be sure before I came to the conclusion. There were not hardly any cuts, and I kept thinking about what in the world happened. I think here again, I'm not a geologist or anything, but I know when that big strong eye wall came in and pushing all the water back over everything, it brought a lot of sand in. But when it came back out, what it did, everything was sort of level out. It didn't really find any gullies because there was so much water. It didn't wash out in the gullies, so it was just flat. It was just flat for like a year or so. I noticed the other day, though, they're getting a little bit of cuts out there, but for a good strong year, there were no cuts there. And I don't know if like I say, I know the actual, remember the canal itself, it was just completely sanded in, so it did that all along that coastline there. So just be aware of that, but the cuts are coming back. Okay, now, and here's the area right here I'm talking about, right here in Mexico Beach, just straight out from there. Which is a good place. That's one of the best visual places you can go. And of course, it's a good place to go. When I originally started surf fishing a long time ago, I fished St. George Island. I learned how to surf fish at St. George Island. And then we hit Mexico Beach. But then when I first moved here as a young man, we would go to 30A. And before it was 30A, and you're talking about it was just beautiful there. And you could get there right there where 30A, where the road comes off 98. There was a couple little trails there, and it was just really great fishing there. And then, of course, now I concentrate most of my surf fishing at Cape San Blas, and it is really good there. But now I want to tell you this: I don't do any summer surf fishing. My surf fishing is springtime and fall, and on occasion in January. Right after hunt season, I like to hit January time or two. I don't make a living off of it, but fall is coming up, and we'll talk about it all the time. So if you think about surf fishing, the reason I don't fish in the summer for various reasons. The big reason, you're going to catch a lot of what I call trash fish, a lot of catfish, and you're going to catch a good one every now and then. You may run across a trout or redfish, but 4 or 5 fish is going to be catfish and all, because they really come in strong in the summertime. So I don't ever fool with them. But when water temperature cools off, you start making those runs and all. But and we'll talk about surf fishing a little bit as we go along, getting ready for the fall fishing. I'll tell you what we're going to do and all. I use those 3 poles, long cast, medium cast, and short cast, and that's just something I've always done. I don't know. All kind of people do it different ways. That's just the way I do it and all. And of course, my go-to bait now is what? You're right, the fish bites. Let's take a break and we'll be right back. Okay, welcome back. Let's take a look at this now. Email from Terry at Blue Water. Check this out. Hey, Coach, we're talking about those bowfin, what we call mudfish. The Cajun culture has many recipes for bowfin, which they call, I can't pronounce those words. One recipe calls for cooking the fish as soon as it's caught. One morning I warmed up my cooking oil, walked down to the creek, caught a bowfin, walked back up to the house, filleted it, chunked it up, coated it, and then deep fried it. As I was chewing it, the meat seemed to swell up and get chewier. I spit it out. I tried to feed the rest of it to my cat, who will eat anything. She wouldn't even eat it. That was the last time I tried to eat them. If anyone in your audience eats them, I can supply as many as they want. No one in Weewall has taken me up on my generous offer. They're from Blue Water. So that sort of answered my question too. Speaking of some nice fish, check this out. Ken Paramore, I told Ken he walks the walk. Hey, wanted to send you one for your next picture parade. That's his personal best Panhandle mahi right there. Good 12 pounds. That is some good fish tacos. And I'm talking about that's good eating right there. Good job, Ken. All right, Ken, he walks the walk now. He gets in outdoors and got that nice big boat. I'm gonna come out of this picture here. And this is just a picture of 1952 at Dead Lakes, talking about just some old fishing. This came out of Florida Archives. But is that not a classic picture of the Dead Lakes? And I just ran across it, and it was talked about how the Dead Lakes flooded like 12,000, what happened at Chipotle River. Anyway, these geologists have all kind of ways it happened, but it did happen. Thankfully, we have the Dead Lakes. Okay, Larry Brown, speaking of earlier, Larry sent me this lightning strike last week at the south mouth. This is over in Choctahatchee. A lot of y'all saw the smoke and all from there. This is natural burn. Lightning hit those trees and it just started burning. I love pictures like this. And it appears, this is after the burn, it appears that 200 acres or so will burn. Walton County Fire Department can give you an accurate number, and that's a picture of it there. And here's another picture of it. That's nature's way of just clear burning, and that's what happens in California now when lightning hits. It keeps on burning because they don't do any control burns to balance it off. Okay, remember this. I'm gonna come back to this. I looked up how many scallops are in a gallon. Okay, and this is just some pictures. I wanted to let me go back to some of these early ones. I wanted to show you. Let's see. All right, let's go to this one. When your favorite lure gets hung, have we all done something like this before? Somehow I got to get that lure back. It's not, as I've gotten older, I sort of say, I just get another one like it, but I remember doing things like that. Okay. And then Tom Martin, good morning, Winston. The shrimp boil was fantastic yesterday. I did it like you showed using the bags. Okay, and then just a good shrimp boil. It's very similar to what our buddies do down at the sea quarters, and doing them in bags when you got that many is a lot more fun, a lot easier. Okay, now another thing too. Okay, let me. I want to talk about dove shooting and everything. Let me see. I brought my dove decoy. Let's see if I can get it on here. I don't know. How's that? Okay. Now you pay attention. Now, the dove season is going to open up not too far away. Let's see. I got my notes over here somewhere. September 26th, which is today's the 10th, so 16 days from now, dove season opening up. And you want to start getting ready for it. First thing you start thinking about, I hadn't shot my shotgun in a while. Of course, you want to have a good shotgun, and I know, again, talking about the panhandle culture, dove shoots is definitely a strong point in the fall. And like we talked about before, I have such fond memories of it. And I was looking up shooting ranges, and a lot of people just get in the backyard. We got a lot of room back there and just clay shoot. You can buy those little, just throw those clays. I have one, and you can sort of set them up because what you got to do, get that swing down. And remember, those doves, they'll be coming in at you this way. They'll be going away from you that way, and they'll come left to right, right to left, and all kind of different ways. So when you're shooting clays and you're trap shooting, whatever, you want to get all kind of angles. And that's a lot of, on Saturday afternoon, that's a lot of fun in itself. But anyway, if you wanted some shooting ranges, we have them here somewhere, I know. Okay. Right here. Apalachicola, they have one down here, Apalachicola shooting range, and it was closed the other day, but it's going to be open now. Bay County shooting range, okay, closed on Tuesdays, Wednesdays, and Thursdays. Now, it's operating now at 50% capacity with a 1-hour time limit per participant, which is a good idea, from 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. Fridays, Saturdays, Sundays, and Mondays. So that's a good little schedule there. And then at the bottom, don't forget our Northwest Regional Office in Bay County is closed, and also the law enforcement field office is closed also. But the shooting range here, here's what I have at Apalachicola. It's a 10-position, 100-yard rifle range, 10-position, 50-yard handgun or pistol, and shotguns are prohibited down there except when shooting shotgun slugs. So they don't have the skeet trap shooting down there. But that's open from sunrise to sunset except for Monday and Friday, and I'm assuming they're open most of the time down there. But anyway, on the dove shooting and everything, there are two areas they're going to be in. Of course, the fields, and you got the peanut fields. They're pulling peanuts now, and all in Jackson County, Washington County, and the dove going to be there, and the harvesting in the fall, and that's when the birds come in. and it's just a great time. Also, around the watering holes in the afternoons, those doves, I watch them in my yard, and they do drink water in the afternoon, right around 4-ish or 5-ish. They'll come in, and I have a little water hole for them. And yesterday afternoon, there were 2 of them sitting up there just drinking water. And I told them they were pretty lucky they weren't out there in the woods, because up there in the county, we'd be shooting at them. But so keep in mind the watering holes and the fields. And then, of course, the camouflage, you don't want to stand out in the middle field, and you want to get well camouflaged. Again, when you're shooting, also practice shooting standing up, sitting down like on a 5-gallon bucket, and sometimes kneeling down. So when you practice shooting, shoot from all different positions and just try to envision yourself doing that. I absolutely love a dove shoot, and we used to go on them on a regular basis. The last few years, last year I don't think hardly anybody had, but I would love to get back into dove shooting. And if you have a dog, that's just like icing on the cake when that dog can retrieve those doves. And it's just a lot of fun. And if you haven't done it, I know the public management areas now I know the one down in Weewall. I try to get a list of ones that have some public quail shoots and also dove shoots. There are some fields and all for folks who need to get to those. So anyway, if you get a chance to go dove shooting, go open up 2 weeks to go through October the 18th, I believe. So it's going to be opened up September 26th. All right, let's take our final break, and we'll be right back. Okay, welcome back, folks. Let's take a look at our fish and game times today. We're looking at brought to us by Blue Water Outriggers, brought to us each day by them, 5:37 to 7:37, and also 6:02 to 8:02 this morning. We're going to show you this quick little video. I run across stuff like this every now and then. I don't know where it happened, but this is a camper. Okay, now look at this. This is a Florida Panhandle hunting page. And pull in a camper and see look at that bird right there. I mean, look at that deer, right there. Okay, so that shows. Isn't it amazing what happens though when you see stuff like that? How in the world does a deer run into a vehicle and all? And that's exactly what happens and everything. So anyway, I did want to mention today too. Let me see, I'm going to take our doves down. We'll have to put them up back here somewhere during dove season. I'll bring this satchel. This is what I put this is my Panhandle Outdoor. But notice my handle's coming off, and what did I do? I put some duct tape on the other day. Instead of buying a new one for $50-something, why couldn't I put more duct tape? This has lasted over 10 years, and I just like it, and I just duct tape the handle, and Gail just sort of shakes her head when I do that. But we talk about duct tape. I brought a roll this morning, and outdoorsman, you got to have something. You got to have duct tape in your truck. You got to have it in your garage and wherever, and also somewhere close to the boat, because you always need duct tape. I was wondering, I was looking at it last night. I said, who invented this? I always wanted to know who invented it, and I was able to find out. It's amazing things you can find out now, and. The lady's name, actually a lady invented it. She invented it actually in 1943, and she was actually, let me see, I don't know, may not even copy it. Here it is, right? I did take a picture of her. This lady right here, Miss Vesta Stout from Dixon, Illinois. She worked at a munitions plant, and she was the mother of duct tape. And she had 2 sons in World War II. And so she was working. It goes on. This is a story. I want to read it to you. Illinois mom right there in the middle, Vesta Stout, who wanted to save soldiers' lives. And she had 2 sons serving in the Navy. And she was in Illinois, and the boxes of ammunition she was packing and had a flaw. And what happened, they were sealed with paper. And she would be an inspector, and the boxes were coming loose and everything. So, and especially if it got wet, sometimes they would get wet somehow. And you got to remember, it's 1943, in the middle of World War II. And she kept thinking, why couldn't we make some kind of waterproof tape? And she actually wrote a letter. Listen to this. She wrote a letter to President Roosevelt. Look at this. And he was so impressed that he passed her letter on to the War Production Board and mailed a letter to Stout letting her know that her idea for duct tape had been approved. So anyway, and then the rest of the story is history, of course. And what they did is Johnson & Johnson a big company, of course, they're still in existence. They worked on it, and what they did, they have an inner layer of sticky, and then they have that little web, that little netting in the middle, and then on the outside, the key to it was this right here is all waterproof. That was a waterproof tape there, and it really, of course, it took off slowly, but then and I wondered last night, I wonder if Miss Stout really ever got any kind of monetary for her idea, and kind of monetary rewards and all. Now there'll be all kind of lawyers on her side trying to get her to, if she probably didn't get it patented, so it was just her idea. But anyway, what great American ingenuity in a situation, and having y'all viewed duct tape at different times and all. Okay, now moving on, people asking about fishing in the area, and now things are changing. I always tell people, the first thing I tell people when they go into an area they haven't fished, go by the local tackle shop, which is still the best thing to do. Like if you're coming down in Georgia, all those folks go into blue water. In fact, every time I go down there, somebody's coming in and asking. I haven't been in there in a while because of the pandemic, but people are going there. But now there's a lot of stuff on social media. Fishing pages. There's Panama City Fishing. I mean, there's something for everything. At first, it started out with like surf fishing or pier fishing, like maybe 3 or 4 basic fishing pages. Now there's one for everything. Kayak fishing in the Panhandle, kayak fishing in St. Joe, kayak fishing in Destin, and it's just all kind of different threads. But a lot of those will have good information. Some people are willing to share the information. Some people say, and I see both sides of it. Some people say you really need, if you're going to fish there for a while, get out there yourself and learn the places to go yourself. And that way, it sort of takes it, to me, it takes the fun out of it. You go right to the place and just start catching them. You don't sort of have to look around for them. But at the same time, you need to have the basic information to get out there to do it. So you want to get tackle and everything, and make sure you got the right bait. And that's where you can get it from Tackle Shop, and also get it from these social pages too, on Facebook and all. And I check them every now and then and see what's going on, and it's usually pretty well what we're saying right here, exactly what's going on season by season. And some people say, oh my goodness, there's redfish under the bridge. And also there's sharks under the bridge too. I ran across, I can show you a picture tomorrow of a 14-foot shark caught under the Hathaway Bridge. We got to get out of here. Thank y'all for watching Panhandle Outdoors. Do something good today for your fellow man, and God bless.
Thanks for watching America's only daily outdoor TV show, Panhandle Outdoors with Winston Chester, featuring hunting, fishing, and other activities and information to help you enjoy the great outdoors. Join us next time for Panhandle Outdoors.